Hello everyone, how you doing? This video is going to be on Avic care, Avicularia, and it's basically just kind of like general care for all of the teas, all of the Avics, and I had a subscriber request a Avic care video, so here it is. I'm going to go ahead and do that one right now. So I would like to start off by saying that this is, this is stuff that, this is how I've kept mine over the past years. I've now been in the hobby for about 4 years, and this is what works for me. And I know a lot of times people will see some videos and they'll have an opinion, and that's cool. But this is what's worked for me. This works, and my Avics are doing fine. They're all good. So if there's other methods that some of you out there are using, or if you have some ideas or other ways that that y'all keep y'all's teas, definitely leave it in the comments section, and it'd be great to hear other people's ideas and see what others out there are doing. So we'll start off with the with an Avic sling. Here's an Avic sling. This is a diversity sling. That's some molt down there. Actually, no, that's the tea down there. I think I must have took the molt out of this one. But as slings, what I do is I keep them in these small vials and punch some holes in there. You don't have to punch a whole lot in there, just really small holes, just so that they're able to, it's able to keep humidity in. I do know a lot of people that keep slings in straight vermiculite, and I will probably be switching to doing that just for slings, doing straight vermiculite. And that is because these guys do tend to, if you have them in these vials and with the small holes, they do tend to, the substrate can mold up, and that's really bad for your teas. So if you do have them in vials and you have Eco Earth, the cocoa fiber, make sure that you're not getting mold in the bottom of that container. The other important thing as slings is to keep them pretty well misted. Then again, you don't want to overdo it, because that can introduce mold in there. So I keep them pretty well misted to where the substrate is moist, and I do allow it, if it dries up in the top a little bit, that's fine, so that it's not like swampy or soggy, just has a nice darker color, and has, just moisture in the substrate. What I do also with these guys when they're slings, I do spray in there pretty often, at least every third day or twice a week at least, so that droplets form either on the web, if they have a web, or on the side of the vial, and they'll either drink that from the substrate, the web, or the side of the vial, and they do fine that way. They just go drinking the droplets. So that's pretty much slings. Just these vials or small containers. If you use deli cups, use some that are a little bit higher, that have some height to them, since these guys are arboreal, and a lot of them do like to build webs up high. Once you reach about an inch or so, as this diverse piece has, I switch them over to these acrylic containers. I get them from Container Store. Pretty sure there's other sources you can get them from. And with these, once they reach that size, about an inch, I do drill holes in the side of the container, and then holes in the top for cross ventilation and top ventilation, and then just decorate it up if I want it to look nice. And you'll see the sling right there. So sorry about that reflection, but that's what I do for Basically just little juvies about an inch to basically I leave them in there till they outgrow the container, which is, you know, right around the 2 inch mark or so. 2 inch, 2.5 inch, right around there. Probably ready to be switched to something with a little bit more room. That's just my experience, like I said. And with these guys, follow the same protocol basically. It's okay if the substrate dries up a little bit. I don't like it to get too moist because then you get mold. But I do mist them at least twice a week so the droplets form on the side of the enclosure, and they can drink from that or on the cork bark or whatever else is in there. That way they can go and drink if they need to. So now we get into juvies, adults. With these guys, I've found that they're pretty hardy. Basically, I know that a lot of people have issues with Avics, but really never had an issue with one that reaches, you know, the juvie state. They web up a lot. They'll make these web canopies, and like this one up here, up high. And so it seems like they can control humidity pretty good that way. This one is here. This is one that I got from a friend of mine, and he had it in this enclosure here. As you can see, there is water there, a little bit in the water dish. It will get misted today, and the substrate is fairly dry in the top of it. We've been pretty dry out here in San Antonio, Texas, so it dries up fairly quickly. When I see it like this, I do go in there and mist pretty heavily, especially since this container has a full open top, and just moisten it back up again and fill up the water dish. Basically, I use the water dish as my gauge. I do not let the water dish dry out completely. If it does, that means it's definitely time for a mist. And when it's really dry and ambient humidity is pretty low, a lot of times that will dry up almost instantly right away. So basically, juvies of adults, keep them like this. Don't worry too much about over misting them. They seem to do just perfectly fine if as long as you're keeping moisture in there and a water source. This one has top opening ventilation, and this tea is perfectly fine. Nice Versy female. And this one has the vents in the front. And this is a 2.5 gallon. You could also use a 5 gallon if on its side if you wanted to give it more room. And you can also use other cages such as Zoomets, Exos. And with these here, if the humidity is pretty low, the ambient humidity, I do cover that up, sometimes with a piece of plexiglass, sometimes saran wrap, just so that it does hold in a little bit more moisture. And with these, since I make them, the two vents in the front seem to do really well. Sorry about the tank condition. This versicolor had an X-Act that it ended up destroying, so I hadn't really gotten there and cleaned it. Didn't really want to disturb it, but sack's gone anyways now. So that's you can see the water dish there. Still has some water. The inside of it not completely damp or anything like that. It's actually pretty dry in there, but they do fine like that. Like I said, when I get to this state, I will go in there and mist them. Just wanted to let these get like this so I could show you that they're perfectly fine if you skip a day or a couple of days of not misting. If you're gonna be if you're not gonna be able to get to them in a few days, especially with these enclosures that have a very open top, I would recommend covering the top with something, partially or entirely. There's saran wrap, a piece of plexiglass, or just something on there to reduce the amount of water that's lost, moisture that's lost from the enclosure. So that's pretty much it. They're pretty easy to take care of. Very important, just they have a water dish, that there's water in there at all times. That you do mist, don't allow to get bracky dry where it's like bone dry. That you do mist if it starts drying out, but you don't have to worry about overdoing it to where you're going to have just damp substrate. That can kill them as well. You can start getting mold and gets pretty messy, and that can cause issues for them also. So that's pretty much it. Like I said, if anybody has any suggestions or just stuff they do, feel free to leave it in the comment section. This works for me. I've raised this versicolor here from Sling using this method, so she's always been fine. And all these slings, juvies, all the way up to subadult adults, they've always been fine. So basic Avic care right there, pretty much. If anybody has anything to add, please feel free to leave it in the comment section. That's always welcome and encouraged, and hopefully this helps someone out there. Alright everyone, and if you still have questions after this video, please do leave them in the comment section as well. That way I can answer them, and maybe that can be another video just answering follow-up questions. So that's pretty much it. Avic care, general Avicularia care. And yep, pretty much it. Alright everyone, thanks for watching.